I'd like to call to order the work session for September 25th, 2025. Mr. Motley, would you offer our invitation?
I'll be happy to, yes, sir. Gentlemen, from home, prayer. Lord, we come to you tonight, Lord, reaching out to you. You are our one true source for wisdom and comfort and protection, Lord, and we're reaching out to you tonight. Lord, first and foremost, thanking you for the protections you provided over our school district thus far this year, from our buses to our schools, and to our children and our families, Lord. And we ask you in advance, we ask you to protect us throughout this year, build a hedge of protection around our school buses and anywhere our students gather with their families or with their teachers or with their school families, Lord. And we thank you for this board and their time and their commitment to our school district. I pray that their decisions are laced with wisdom and grace and mercy, Lord, tonight. And we thank you in advance for all the many blessings that you provide for our school district and all those involved. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Board, at this time, I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda. Mr. Wade. Second.
No.
Second, Mr. Jowers. Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
Say something on here in the table, we do it later on.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start with the agenda. We've got the school update from our East Side principal, Ms. Catherine Woodard. So welcome, Ms. Woodard, and excited about your update.
Thank you for having me. So I'm Catherine Woodard, principal at Eastside Elementary School, and we appreciate you guys being here and letting us take a month and share a little bit about ourselves. Here's just a district map. Eastside is outlined in blue, so you can see it's a small land-wise district, but very heavily populated within the city limits. And here's the front of the Eastside School. This picture is pre-Helene, so you can see some ancient trees that are not there anymore, but it's a beautiful school. Here's our staff. Staff picture, we took the day of convocation, so everybody was matching. And our theme this year is Eagle Mode, all day, every day. So this year we've been asked to speak to you guys about data in regards to attendance and our student achievement. And so this quote will get us kicked off. The goal is to turn data into information and information into insight. And that was said by Carly Ferrini. And this helps illustrate the process from raw data to deep understanding and actionable steps, actionable knowledge. A touch of background about our school, just by enrollment. We'll look at grade and a few other things, but this is current enrollment of 556 students spread out from pre-K through 5th grade. We're just at half and half boy and girl. Here's our enrollment by ethnicity. See each percentage listed out next to our donut chart. And our enrollment by educational services with the emphasis on general education, special education, and ESOL, which are our primary services. Our leadership team had a wonderful opportunity this summer to go to the Georgia Leadership Institute for School Improvement, which is called GLISI. We went to Jekyll Island for a week and met with school leadership teams from around the state. Here's just a few snapshots of our teams, some of the different activities. Some were team building, some were backgrounds of school to help get us moving in the right direction. And some of them were just outside of challenges that the team had to commit to together. We had a fantastic time. We learned a lot about data, the use of data, and how to move the needle. So we were charged up and ready after GLISI to get back to our hometown and be able to do that actionably within our school. While we were at GLISI, we were charged to come up with a statement, and by the end of the week, we came up with this, and I think it's quite beautiful. Our purpose is to create a joyful and connected school where generations learn, lead, and grow because our community is counting on us. And something that came up through a lot of conversations were generationally, we have a lot of teachers and staff that attended coffee schools, attended even specifically Eastside. We also have a lot of parents that attended, and now their children are attending. We have children that are growing up to be teachers right here in Coffee County and Eastside, so that's where the generation part for learn and lead, and then also always growing, so.
Let me tell you, I was an East Side Eagle, so. All right.
Awesome. Our two school improvement goals this year are both related or surrounding the STAR assessment. So goal 1 is to increase the STAR reading assessment by 5% in grades 1 through 5 from fall to spring, and to also increase the STAR early literacy assessment by 5% in grades kindergarten and first from fall to spring. And in the same sense, for goal 2, increase STAR math assessment by 5% in grades 1 through 5 from fall to spring. We chose to stick with the STAR because typically the same population that starts with you ends with you. Of course, there are doors that people travel through. You get kids halfway through the year, kids move. But in general, we're comparing the same group of kids from beginning to end rather than a group that was with you last year to a new group that may be totally different the next year. So we'll dive into our STAR early literacy data. This is only our fall data. We've taken it one time. And STAR early literacy is given to kindergarten and first grade students, and it shows their proficiency level in regards to how successful they will be using early literacy skills to determine future reading skills. So you can see out of all students that took it, we've got the percentage, but also the number of students that fail in that area. The goal is the 2 green sections. So we would like for our students to be at benchmark, which is grade level, or the green section, which is above benchmark. On watch, several of these students are super close to the next level. Some of them also could fall back if we don't push in the right direction. Intervention is the next subset, and then urgent intervention. So you'll notice that we do have a large population that started the year out in the intervention and urgent intervention, and our goal is to lower those sections and increase our green sections, and we'll have that full information by the end of the year after an academic year has been completed and we take the final STAR early literacy. Here are our STAR reading assessments for 2nd through 5th grade. The same color key goes with all STAR assessments, so you can see the chunk of students who are in green and dark green are already on grade level and above grade level, with a small group of kids that need the extra push to get at benchmark, and then a portion of our students in the intervention and urgent intervention. So another thing to point out, the students that are in the lower section, in the urgent intervention section, typically are the kids that are receiving your MTSS tier interventions. Some of those are held within the classroom, some of those are actual pull-out for a very small group. One teacher with a student, or a small group of teachers, like three students with a single teacher, for more intensive intervention than your typical flex screen or computer program, even if it's individualized. Our next section is STAR Math, and here's our 1st through 5th grade scores. Same key, so the green is the sections of students that are on benchmark and above benchmark, and then on watch, intervention, and urgent intervention. The next point that we'll look at is our student attendance. This is from last year because students completed a full year, whereas now we're just in the very end of September. So we had 23 students last school year that had perfect attendance, 140 students with 1 to 4 days absent, and then in the 180 range for 5 to 9 days, but also in the 180 range for 10 or more days. And the scary and sad thing is that we were also out for a month between Helene and Snow. So this is on top of those days that did not count against. So we had a large portion of students miss 5 to 9, 10 or more. We do honor and reward perfect attendance. So we do it by the month. So every month starts fresh. And at the end of the month, a student can receive a popsicle on the way out of the lunchroom to take to recess. Every month is fresh. So if you miss a day in August, September starts over. So there's always the point that you can still get there. We do know that people get sick, people have family things that come up, and we also honor it by the 9 weeks, and in the same, at the SOAR assemblies, we do a certificate and a goodie bag. Again, these also start over, so if you miss a day in the first 9 weeks, you could still earn it during the second 9 weeks. And then by the year, so if the student's perfect attendance for the entire year, they receive a trophy. And we do have students that will get perfect attendance multiple years in a row, they get a larger trophy. And it documents the years. We also have staff attendance data from last year. And when you put this in front of your eyes, it's a touch alarming. We had 2 teachers and staff members with perfect attendance. A shout out to Ms. Lakeisha Williams, a kindergarten para, and also Ms. Roxy Taylor, a kindergarten certified teacher. They had perfect attendance last year. 17 of our staff had less than 3 days that they missed between personal and sick days. 27 staff members had 4 to 9 days absent. We had 9 staff members with 10 to 15 days absent. We had 13 staff members with 16 or more days absent. And those were the steps that we used for our TEKS last year at the end of the year ratings, and so that's what I'm presenting. So combined, the scary number is 641 and a half days using sick leave, personal leave, and leave without pay once you've exhausted your days that you continue to take. This does not include jury duty, student and staff leave if you're a coach, or professional learning leave that they may have attended listed professional learning days. And again, on top of the month that we were already out for school. So that was difficult to look at, but it is attendance data, and we were asked to do that. So it's not all bubbles and sparkles. We do honor and reward perfect attendance for staff as well. By the month, they earn 3 passes that they can choose from. They earn all 3 passes. They can choose when to use it. And then we also, of the pool that gets it that month, they can pull for 2 $50 gift certificates to just local places around town. By the month attendance is also based on the month. So if you missed a day in August with strep throat, you got another shot in September, because you could end the year with one attendance day, and we will celebrate that. At the end of the year, our 2 teachers that got perfect attendance for the year, they have burns and lunch off campus with coverage provided in-house by leadership. This is just a screenshot, but we've really worked on creating an environment for our students to want to come to school. They don't want to miss things that they are going to enjoy. So this is a screenshot. We have daily Eagle News, and it's in place of announcements. So instead of coming on the intercom, all homerooms watch Eagle News. It's pre-recorded, and we have 2 students. Right now, we're just in 4th and 5th grade, totally by nomination from the teachers. And so 2 new students get to do Eagle News every single day, and we work our way through a couple of different things, which I have on the next slide. So you can see they welcome everybody to school. They share what the day is. The students lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence. They review that day's lunch menu. We call out any birthdays that are happening that day or over the weekend. We have our Patrick Kids Hearts character word and an inspirational quote, and then any announcements and a closing. And our closing is at the bottom of the screen. Every day, all 559 of us, or 56 of us, whatever the number was, say, Eastside is our happy place. We are committed, respectful, and better together. And we close our Eagle News out with that every single day. Right after Eagle News, all homerooms gather on the carpet, pre-K through 5th grade, and they have something called morning meeting. It's about a 10-minute part of the day to get started. Every single name is spoken. They learn key skills like shaking hands, communication starters. They do an activity. Typically, it's not academic based. It is true community and relationship building. And so we start every single day with our Capturing Kids' Hearts morning meeting. This is based off of a book that each staff member on our campus has, and it has a few different pieces to use throughout the week to make sure that the entire model has been met. Our students love that. So our reading and English language arts block is full. We have several hours a day spent on increasing the ability to be able to read and to be successful. Our kindergarten and second grade students have integrity, phonemic awareness, and Saxon, phonics, and spelling. And then all grade levels have shared reading, which is an on-grade level text, and interactive read aloud, which is presented by the teacher, and it's an above grade level text. We have interactive writing and genre-based writing daily, and then all classrooms have differentiated flex groups. The typical differentiated flex group is a teacher group where teachers meet at the kidney table and meet with groups where they are based on the standards that they're currently learning. There's an independent work, which is a reading and writing response or skills practice. And then our technology is Lexia Core, which is individualized. They take an assessment and it places them in the program for their needs. We also have an emphasis on handwriting, and kindergarten through second graders do print, and third through fifth graders are cursive. And then our math block, it's still lengthy in time, but not as lengthy as reading and ELA. You can see all the components that needed to fit in. We have a spiral review to keep your skills fresh, number talk, math fact fluency, and math whole group instruction. And math whole group instruction is based on the standards, so we use the instructional learning plans from the state. We use any resource that can support student learning for that skill. So it's not a book you work your way through the year. You're beating the standard skill. And they also do flex groups, very, very similar. The only thing that would be different would be the technology piece, and it's reflex math instead of Lexia Core. But they typically do 3 groups a day. We also have science and social studies blocks, so we incorporate as much reading as possible during this time. We have a lot of hands-on learning, interactive, individual partner group-based projects to really get our kids up and moving and excited. Here's a couple of snapshots. And then our family engagement piece. We are super strong with iCampus Parent Portal and Parent Square Posts and text messaging. We have a high rate of parent involvement in both of those programs. We do have a digital sign out in front of our school that we can celebrate student birthdays and shout outs, but also events that are taking place. Of course, Facebook, in-person, and telephone communication. We try to send 2 postcards a year, so instead of having a direct professional learning, teachers bring and we set aside time and pay for the postage and postcards to go out, and there's something about getting mail from your teacher, so the kids love that. We've continued the newsletters and calendars, and of course our in-person events, parent-teacher conferences, family nights, our awards programs. We do have guest and volunteer readers. Guests, volunteers, and readers, and this was a big brag. In FY25, we had our career day. We had 82 different careers represented. The year before, we had also done really well, but we had 48, so we almost doubled our career guests, and it was amazing. I hope you can stop by on our next career day, because I was even amazed at some of the things that people have a friend, and they had a friend, and somebody came and put crickets to sleep, and I mean, it was just amazing. It was awesome. Will you click it again? So that's good, yeah. Thanks. The launch is a quote by Jennifer Serralvo, and each of our teachers have this somewhere on the bulletin board or on the computer, and we love it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Be the teacher who believes in the student before the data does, because sometimes the belief is what creates the progress. We believe in our Eagles. We know that they can achieve. Even when it's tough, we keep pursuing, and we are looking forward to another awesome year. So I appreciate y'all's time and attention.
That should have been Hispanic population over here in Berlin.
those. And see if there's any questions or changes we need to make. Please, as the board will place those on the consent agenda for approval at the regular meeting. Next item on the agenda is the financial reports. And we've got our final closeout reports for the fiscal year, so these will be official, and we'll approve these tonight. You want to describe these to us, Ms.
Yes,
Becker?
sir. The first one is our financials, as of June 30, 2025. So this is the closeout of our fiscal year 25. And you can see here that we began the fiscal year, July 1 of 2024, with a fund equity of $29,653,557.59. We had total revenues for the year of $94,454,014.57. Total expenditures of $91,461,028.84 for an ending fund equity of $32,625,534. Okay. This shows our details. The first portion here is our revenue. You can see that our revenue was up over what we had budgeted. And when you look through that, you can see that our local revenue, TABT, and also our state revenue was up, as well as our federal grants with our Medicaid. Those were the areas that were the most, that was increased there. You come on through to the expenditures. We also were over our budget by a slight bit there. But also, we had expenditures that were included in here that were related to Hurricane Helene, which was also offset by those revenues, okay? They were in this budget. So you can see the final fund equity there at the end there, $32,625,534. Next one is the comparison report. Let's see. We'll move on. The fund equity as compared to the beginning of the year, we're increased our fund equity by approximately $2.9 million there. This is our July detail report here for the month of July for the new fiscal year. So you can see that our total revenues as of July are $1,708,055.24. And our total expenditures for the month of July are $2,368,046.53. And the fund equity as of the month of July is $31,965,542.71. This is our August financials. So you can see the total revenues here as of the end of August at $3,818,092.83. Total expenditures, $6,251,409.71. So the end of August fund equity is $30,192,217.12. This is our comparison, the last 4 years. So we are, slightly up from last fiscal year there. Any questions on any of those?
Or any questions? I do have one.
Yes, sir.
The July PDF was saved as September. I do that all the time. Not with our financial reports. When I'm saving files, I name them something and save it as PDF and it overwrites it, so I don't know if that's what happened, but when I pull up my July report, it's titled September.
I always put the date of board meeting first, and
Okay.
then it will say July, or it should say July financial.
Okay. The last one should be the SPOS for the month of, there we go. So this is our
Yeah,
SPOS.
you got it, thank you.
Okay. And the SPOS revenue is $822,558.36. August there. Any questions on that?
Yeah. I'll be tired. Newness in the new shopping center. Is there any other questions, comments? All right, so we ended the year in a good way. So thank you, board, for your good stewardship and good leadership, and thank you, staff, for y'all being good stewards of taxpayer dollars and being very fiscally responsible. So thank you, your staff, board. It's a good report. All right. Bus purchase. We've got some school buses that we're asking the board to approve. You'll see these spreadsheets that give the details on the orders. Buddy couldn't be here with us tonight.
Yeah,
It's all right, I was told you weren't gonna be, I was gonna stumble through it, so. But we've got a request to purchase a few buses, two 83, 84 passenger buses, and then one special needs bus, and they're all gasoline buses. And we'll use state dollars. We're getting some state funding to purchase these buses, but it's not enough to cover the whole amount, so we will use SPOS funds to cover what the state funds don't. And we need to go ahead and get these ordered. The last meeting I went to where transportation was discussed, they said there's some systems who had ordered buses like 2 years ago using state money, and the buses weren't delivered by the manufacturer, and the state's not going to honor their dilemma. They're going to not send the funds, and so they just lost those state funds that were going to go towards buses because the manufacturer couldn't get them delivered. So we do want to ask them to go ahead and approve this purchase so we can get them in the line, and hopefully they'll be here in a year and a half, something like that. Buddy, is that about right?
He said that they're picking up on it.
All right, great. Great.
All these Bluebird,
Yes, sir.
You got 3 buses? Oh.
Yes, ma'am. And these were purchased on state contract. Any questions about
When are we expecting those buses to arrive?
in March, hopefully, we can get them ordered. But the manufacturers have had some problems fulfilling orders, is what's been shared in the copy. All right, if there's no questions, we'll place place that on the consent agenda or objections? The maintenance, transportation, repaving, we put this out for RFPs to pave the transportation, maintenance department parking lots, and to improve them. We've had like a ditch that goes through the middle of the transportation department parking lot. It really creates a hazard. It's a real hazard. Buddy, have you ever had anybody run off into that thing?
We got that fence put in there.
Yeah, but this will eliminate that hazard in the parking lot and really improve it with paving, give you more space to park. So, the low bid was from Harper, $767,400. So that's what we're recommending. Any questions about that?
Order one on board.
All right, well, thank you. And then the track out at the high school, it's been used up, the rubberized surface that we did 6 years ago. That's about the life expectancy of it. It's not safe to run on currently. I think they did limited meets here last year because the surface of the track needs to be replaced. So we put this out for an RFP, and we're going to spray down a new rubber surface and reline it, and it'll be like a new track. But this is probably the most economical way we can resurface the track. And it's what we did about 6 years ago, and it's what we're asking the board to approve this time. Maintenance did go in out there and dug around the track and putting some, helping improve the drainage a little bit. Is that correct, Michael? And so this will get us hopefully another 5 or 6 years with the track. And the track program is growing. Coach White was telling me about participation in track is up, boys and girls, but then also cross country. The cross country runners, they've actually formed their own booster club, and a lot of those cross country runners are now going to be running track on the distance track teams too. So the whole participation of cross country has made track and become even a bigger activity for a lot more kids. So this will give them a new place. All right, and then the next item is the policies. We presented these last month. The first one is the acceptable use for internet for students. And this needs to be changed because of the changes in the state law. They're requiring us to do more with technology use policies because of the changing status of all this technology and the internet and such, and AI. So we're updating our acceptable use policies. So any questions about this policy, these particular changes?
So will this go out as an addendum to the handbook that we published already for this school year? It'll go out.
Yes, sir, and Logan can probably answer that, but it'll replace the previous within the handbook because it's digital, and it'll just be the updated version, basically.
We have to submit this new policy to the Department of Education by October 15th, so this is our chance to approve this one. Had to be approved by October 1st and submitted by the 15th.
And that'll get us in compliance with the state.
That's right. They changed that law that came into effect July 1, so now we've got to have our policy updated to be in line with the new state law.
It's been almost a quarter century since it's been updated, really, so probably a good thing we do that.
All right, so everybody's good with that IFBG, Internet Acceptable Use, all right? Next policy is approval of policy revision GARH, employee leave.
All right, and this is still under review. Is that,
Yes, sir. And, this is, it's up for approval, but we don't have to tonight. I mean, it's up, we can have all the conversation and dialogue we need to have, and discussion. And if we don't,
Just coming down from the state, or is that just something we're doing local?
this is something we're doing local. And, Bonita, can you kind of explain
Yes,
how
sir.
we got to this point with this policy?
The major change with the policy is the change in the amount of days that an employee can take in a year. And working with surrounding counties and the change, that coupled with the changes in state health and our benefits, we've been looking at what other surrounding counties are doing. And our counties around us are all staying lined up with FMLA. And what I mean by that is FMLA allows up to 60 days of coverage, falling under that policy. So if our employees are allowed 60 days, if they have it, up to 60 days of sick leave, in other words, they can take all of the sick leave they have up to 60 days, that keeps us in line with our FMLA policy. And obviously FMLA is not our policy, that's following those federal guidelines. And so if an employee has an event that makes them, whether it's sick or something else that falls under that FMLA, they take 60 days. After that 60 days, then other systems have stopped it at 60 or less. We allowed up to 150 days. Well, with 150 days, and I'm just gonna look at the example of Eastside Elementary, and she just spoke about her staff attendance. We're having a lot more staff attendance issues when we add in PPL days. We add in the other days that employees are able to take, spouse and, the paternal and maternal days for those PPL days. So it's getting to a point that employees are taking large amounts of days above that 60. So we have substitutes that we pay for those days above that 60 that really, really encompassing costs. So that's when we started auditing what other systems were doing. And the majority of systems are doing 60 or less. In our employees, we have less than 200 employees that fall that even have more than 60 days available that don't have vacation or some other means that they can take. So this isn't the total system impact, it would impact those that have more than 60 days available. So you look at it as kind of a checking and savings account. After 60 days, it benefits them that they go toward their retirement, goes to their savings account. They don't lose any days. Those days go to their TRS, days instead of being used out in a year's time. And so they would be allowed 60 of their sick days. After that, if there's a qualifying event that they need more than that, then up to 60 more days of unpaid leave could be allowed. So if they needed to be out after that, then they would, if they even had days left, it would be unpaid leave.
So how are we operating right now?
Right now, 150. So an employee, the reality is an employee could pretty much be out most of a school year.
If they got that many days?
Yes. And if they don't, then they'll leave without pay, for the rest of those days. So if an employee that's been with us, usually, upwards of 15 or more years that could earn those days, if they take that many days, then, you're looking at a point that we've had a substitute in a classroom for 3/4 of the school year.
So we pay a substitute and the teacher.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. For every one of those days. And when it's overnight, when we get to 20 days, we need a certified teacher. So their pay rate is it is double for a certified teacher to be the substitute in that classroom. So there are multiple reasons that we've looked at systems, and 60 is is very much on the employee benefit side of what any other county around us is doing. They're doing 60 or less, most less. But 60 would allow us to just seamlessly line up with the FMLA policy. If you're eligible for FMLA, then that's the max amount of days that you would be able to take. But you don't lose those days. They're your days. They just transfer like almost over to a savings account. They go to your retirement.
We just go out on our website where people can see it and read it.
It'd be with our policies. Now, for our employees,
Yeah.
we would do education because open enrollment.
Have you already done it?
No,
You
sir.
don't know what we're doing now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't told them of any change, but just because it hasn't been approved.
But this
But it's sent out, it's emailed out, the agenda.
Oh, yes. I thought you were asking, have we educated them on what the change
Can
is?
Can they get access to the policy to read it for themselves?
Oh, yes, sir.
How do they do that?
It's, you email out that, thing
Robin
about the
sends it
board
out.
meeting, don't you? And it's on Assembly,
Yes, sir.
and the video of last month's board meeting.
All the information is on Assembly. You can get to it.
And I send out an email after it's approved, telling everybody that the board approved this policy revision.
I think this is just, because of the impact, potential impact of this policy change. Two things I would like to see more, just my perspective. One, that this PDF itself go out as an email, possibly even a letter, stating our proposed, change in the policy. And then also to consider any implementation for next contract year, not current contract year. With open enrollment coming up, folks will have the opportunity to apply for very affordable short-term disability or long-term disability. It's pennies on the dollar for the benefit. And then, but I do understand lining up with FMLA. And I also understand we had discussion at the last meeting about this, where there's concerns about impacting state health benefit plan benefits ultimately. We don't want to restrict the employee's benefits they can receive from state health benefit plan because of us not having a policy that aligns with Family Medical Leave Act. Is the way I understood it.
That mandatory that we have aligned.
No, we've been operating under this for 100 years, or however many years we've been operating under it, so one more year I don't think it'll hurt anything, But I'm not aware. Now, there were some pieces in some of this leave stuff that we needed to make sure we included as part of getting in compliance with something. Was that the?
No, we still, and that's what I was gonna say,
Yeah,
there are components, the living organ donor component, it needs to be added. That's, guidance we've gotten for GSBA, that we need to add the section of living and organ donations. We need to update the military leave. Those two pieces need to get us in line with the changes. Other than those two, they are things that absolutely, would be at the discretion of the board, but those two need to be changed, because just like when we brought PPL in, the paid parental leave was law that we had to change, so are those two pieces. So those two pieces would need to be adopted, because we've got to make the changes to the policy based on those.
Policy, and you'll come back with what we've got now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that'd be fine.
So the living donor and the military, those two
Yeah.
sections, they were from
I'm
GSBA
comfortable with that, 'cause
policy.
it's a big change we're talking about.
Okay.
And people have been working in this district for a long time, and I don't want anybody to be assuming anything.
It's good if they've got a designation, that the paragraph so-and-so will be effective, so-and-so, remainder will be effective, whatever the chairman said. You with me? I'll leave it all in one place.
It's good to come back with a clean policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it all in one policy.
I don't think any of it's real time sensitive at this point.
That military thing, sometime, that was a federal.
It's, with the change in that, we've got to update our policy. There's not any day changes in the military, it's really, it was a little bit of a wording, just more clarity really with it, but the donor piece is new, that needs to be added. That's the one piece that,
You need action on that within the next 30 days?
that piece I need to be able to add, the number 1 and 2 that he's got highlighted there.
Yeah, and all those do is each living in each public school teacher and employee shall be entitled to receive the following leave.
Yeah, it's just giving leave based off of that, yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's really giving employees more leave.
Yes, if someone is
Yeah.
an organ donor, it is allowing them that,
Yeah.
that 30 days.
All right.
It really lines, it's almost like the same thing as paid parental leave, but for an organ donor.
All right, well, let me ask it this way. If we don't take action and add the living donor organ donations, could that possibly impact an employee negatively if that situation were to occur? If we
Well,
waited, I mean, if. for
We would
example,
need,
if
we would
waited
need to
30
honor
days-
that. I mean,
Yeah.
if we were to have a situation in the next, school year, then as a board, I would need y'all to honor the 30 days for the employee, just based on the new policies. I mean, putting everything else on pause.
I think we can just clean it up and come back next month and do it then.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like that there's.
Just adding that piece.
Yeah. All right, just table it.
Okay.
So we'll just we'll table policy GARH. And then,
We'll go ahead and take a motion and a vote, just to, because we're pulling it out separate, and I know we're not,
yeah, we'll just
No, right.
take it off of.
we'll just take it off the
The
consent
consent
agenda.
agenda, yeah.
Just take it off the consent agenda. There's no need for
Yes,
us
there's no need for
to actually pull vote.
If everybody's good with that.
Is that gonna take care of GBRIG? That's the next policy.
No, this is a different one, isn't it?
There,
GBRIG,
That's employee leave and absences.
Federal Family Medical Leave Act.
That's,
That's a different policy.
Yeah, so they're all three though part of the leave. You've got, this second one is, your family medical leave regulations, and then the third is sick bank. So none of those require, if we're not gonna take action on one, they marry to each
They
other.
all are.
Yes, sir, because the
Okay.
sick bank
That's what I thought.
is addressed in that
Alright.
sick,
All right,
sick leave policy as well.
all right. Well,
Okay.
let's,
And it's the sick bank policy that may have impact on the state health benefit plan. We discussed it the last meeting, is that right?
Well, if an employee, what has an impact on the benefits is if an employee is on leave without pay. State health says that you may, and that's their term, you may stay on state health and have coverage for 12 months while you're on leave without pay. So we have employees that exhaust their up to 150 days, then they get another 12 months that we carry the employer portion of their benefits. And so if there's not any standard set on that, then we just carry their benefits up to that time.
and we're paying,
We are paying
And
upwards
it's
of
costing
$20,000 a year
Yeah.
for for our portion of their
you
benefits
pay
when they're
their
not working.
salary?
no, they're not getting any salaries.
Ma'am.
because
They use their
They're
days.
not working. So see, that's part of the problem.
That's where, I mean, it
Doing all of
becomes.
this, we got a system where we're paying benefits on people that aren't working for us, and some of them never come back to work for us, and.
And so once they leave and they don't have days, because we have a lot of employees that 150 days, that's very few people. People that have 20, 30 days, they use those in the first month of school, and so now they're on leave without pay. Well, once they go on leave without pay, then they can ride leave without pay for a full year, which means we pay their benefits.
But
that
then they
year.
have to come in and pay part of their benefits, don't they?
Their portion,
Yeah,
which is
Yeah.
very small compared to our portion.
yeah, yeah.
But they don't
It
get a
may not
salary.
seem small to them, though.
I know.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, I mean, if you take a percentage of it, what we pay
Yeah.
is a lot more than what they pay in those benefits.
think we won't do anything,
Yeah,
Okay.
right now,
just that workforce.
yeah. That's
That
right.
was a hard one.
Yes, sir.
Is it a workforce when? I'll just leave it
Go ahead.
there. I mean, I'm just asking the question, if you used up all of your leave within the first 20 days of the semester, and then you're on leave without pay, you're not working for us.
But we're
You're
paying,
spending taxpayer money for your benefits.
and a,
you're
su-
not
and
working
a
for us. That's
sub
my
in,
question.
well, and a sub in your positions
Yeah, I
too. I
understand
mean,
that.
there's just a few layers to it that,
I
like I
would
say,
hesitate to use the term workforce after leave without pay kicks in. It's just me.
With them workforce.
Yeah, they would have to have a certain, this wasn't a new employee that comes on first year wouldn't be able to get that type of benefit, would they? If they came on first year employee and they went on leave without pay and they could stay on.
that's why
For a whole
policies
year.
need to be updated to get, to put those parameters in place. Because right now, they're eligible for benefits after they've been with us the first of the next month. And so their benefits eligible, they're not FMLA eligible. You have to have worked for us for that, that 6 months to be able to get PPL or FMLA. So they're just on unpaid medical leave, but they remain on our benefits. Yes, sir.
Can we put up, been here at least 12 months, 24 months?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I had in this policy. So maybe we can look back at the pieces that you do feel should stay, and we can talk about what, the pieces that would help us
That's
to
right.
keep those in place.
It almost seems like we may ought to just have like a call meet one day. And
Just sit
we
and walk
can
up.
just do it during a weekday and we can come in here and,
We could get a printed copy of all of it,
yeah,
it'd be nice.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, because I mean, it is a lot to understand that if this, then this.
Not only the policy with the amendment,
Yes,
but also the educational piece for us about the puzzle that you're,
yes,
because I think at the end of the day, your effort is not to punish an employee.
no,
But it is something where we need some guardrails around
yeah.
proper use of the things, of the finances that we're responsible for.
Yes, and that's just in trying to be good stewards of, the employees that are eligible for this leave, that we ensure that we're giving them the most coverage and really protecting them to keep them under FMLA, give them the opportunity for a medical leave after it, in trying to support them. However, employees that have been short-term with us use their days immediately, but then we still cover benefits and/or medically are unable, will not ever be able to return covering those benefits. There's just a couple of scenarios that we probably need to look at, along with how sick bank ties to that. Because sick bank then becomes, not to exhaust the conversation, but sick bank becomes a piece of that too. So, absolutely, we could talk sometime.
yeah, and all this is meant to do right by the employees.
Yes, yes.
And also do right by the system. So
Mhm.
it's really just an attempt to
Yeah.
kind of make sure we're all being good stewards, running it right. So we'll table these and make it with y'all and see if we can do like a call meeting sometime. So we can hammer it out and go through some of it. All right? All right? At this point, we've got executive session.
Are you gonna do?
We got another policy there.
Which one?
Easy.
Where's that? Yeah. All right.
GA.
Oh, yeah. Put that on the agenda, just to put it out there for y'all to review. And, we've had some, discussions at different times of,
Just around the rules of possession of weapons.
yeah. And so just wanted to kind of put that in front of the board and, see if there were any. Right now, it's prohibited for any employee to carry a weapon inside school at any time, basically. And so just wanted to give some thought. So, you know, let's say a maintenance man has to go out to a school in the middle of the night, you know, and quite honestly, if I go out in the middle of the night now, I typically might have my pistol with me, you know? You know, just those kind of scenarios. But if I came in here with my pistol in the middle of the night, I'd be breaking the policy, you know? I mean, just some common sense thing. I got a concealed carry permit, you know what I mean? So there's some things like, it's not about me, but that's just an example. That I don't know, that we thought we might discuss with y'all or something. I was just gonna put it out there just for,
But you put A on the consent agenda, aren't you? A.
yeah, A is going on but that first one we discussed, it's going on the consent agenda.
That's all.
There's several use.
Internet use.
Yeah, because we've got a new state law.
That's right.
All right, now are you asking for E, G, A, and B to sit on the table, or? you
Yeah,
asking-
just sit on the table.
Okay. All right. All right.
All right.
You need an executive session.
Yes, sir, need an executive session to discuss personnel and the hiring and employment of employees for the school system evaluation and school safety.
Need a motion to exit to executive session, Mr. Jowers. Second, Mr. Jowers. Any discussion? All in favor? All right, we're in executive session. Thank you.
They got an Albany.
I need a board.
County got a man too.
I know we're all excited. Board, I need a motion to exit executive session, please.
They should all be made.
Second, Ms. Johnson, all in favor? All right, we're out of executive session. Speak freely.
Wait, did you get that?
Got 3 minutes.
She doesn't, you just tell her.
President.
You adjourn the meeting.
Work session is adjourned.